Thank you for joining me on the Investing for Freedom podcast. Today, I'm going to talk to you about freedom, and you're listening to the Investing for Freedom podcast. And something that I've been pondering lately and watching is how many people in the world don't actually, even though they think they want freedom, they don't actually want it. And a while back, I was just thinking about a scripture in the book of Samuel. It's First Samuel, chapter 8. I think it starts in 19, and the children of Israel said, "We want a king over us. Then we will be like all other nations with a king to lead us and go out before us and to fight our battles." And then Samuel went back to God and repeated this. And here's the thing, like, God never really designed us to have a king. And if you look at United States of America, and I'm just going to say it like I think we live in the best country in the world. I put a post up the other day on Instagram, and it was talking about how um, 53% of billionaires live in the United States of America. So in the entire world, 53% of all billionaires are in the United States of America. And so, this country's not really that old. And yes, we have problems. And yes, there's a lot going on in the world. But, I'm kind of the optimist at my core, and I'm always looking at what's positive. And I think we have an opportunity in the United States of America that most people don't have. And it's interesting that we don't have a king. Um, it's also interesting, bringing it back to what I was saying, most people can't handle freedom. And all of you that are listening to this, you're listening to this because you're looking for freedom in your life. You don't want to be told what to do. You want to be able to go, wherever you want. You want to be able to take vacation. You want time off, etc. And the reality is, it's counterintuitive to us to have our freedom. Most people cannot run a business or be an entrepreneur because they're not disciplined enough to wake up and do the hard things when things get hard, or when you're not feeling like going to work. And by the way, one of the reasons why I love freedom is because if I'm in a state of mind and I don't want to go into work or whatever, I don't have to. So I'm not saying that, you should always go into work. You should always drag yourself up off the floor. The reality is some days we're all just in a funk. But what I am saying is that most people can't handle that freedom because they don't have the discipline to show up and do things when it's hard. They want somebody to tell them what to do. They want somebody to bail them out. They want somebody to be their financial safety net, et cetera. Most of us, even though there's so many people that are entrepreneurs or, executives, managers, et cetera, that are running businesses, and you carry the stress of that business on your shoulder. But the reality is you don't have the end all be all responsibility. And we like that at the end of the day. And so the question that I have for you today, if you're listening to this podcast and you're interested in your financial freedom and your time freedom and freedom to be with who you want, when you want, do you think you can truly handle that? And what are the characteristics and what are the traits? What are the things that are keeping you from true freedom? And just like the children of Israel, they actually wanted a king. They didn't want to have a direct, you can see this even in religion. There's so many religions where people don't get to have their own relationship with the creator. They have to go through, somebody else to hear from God. There's entire, centuries that were lost where people couldn't hear from God. They didn't have a Bible. They couldn't read on their own. And still to this day, one of the biggest challenges with religion in general is that everybody wants a leader, and there's power plays that happen everywhere. And it's human nature to, number one, want a leader. And it's also human nature to want to control. And so I think those are the things that we really have to watch out for. But when we bring it back to the freedom and what I'm talking about, I want you to check in. Do you really want freedom? Or are you looking for a king? Are you willing to put the effort and the time and the energy and the commitment and the desire and the discipline and the drive and the do whatever it takes attitude out there to earn that freedom? Or do you want to be told what to do? By the way, as a side note, I love having partners in business because, one of the other things that I love, and I've shared this before in Proverbs, it says there's wisdom in a multitude of counsel. So that's why I love having business partners too. It spreads the risk. You have wisdom around you. But also at the end of the day, I think most of us are scared to be the only decision maker. I think most of us are scared to really put 100% of the responsibility and the debt and all of that. There's so many people that are scared to go into debt. And, I'm not here to really get into that today, but that I'm a huge fan of debt when it comes to real estate and leverage and being able to extrapolate and accelerate that through leverage. It's, leveraging people's time and energy and money and all of the above. I'm a huge fan of it. But the reality at the end of the day is we want a king. We want somebody to tell us what to do. And so I'd really like you to just check in with yourself as you're on this journey of investing for freedom and ask yourself, what areas of my life am I struggling letting go of not having somebody to wake me up or to tell me what to do every day, or what it, like how a project's going to play out, or what am I going to do for the next month, or what's the one thing. One of my favorite books is The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. And we'd rather have somebody tell us what's my one thing for this quarter. I see this all the time. We do a lot of EOS training and quarterly implementation and stuff, and people love being told what their quarterly rocks are and not really working through it as a team to determine what's the most important for the organization. It's not natural to have a team that works together to develop priorities, et cetera. We would much rather just sit back and have somebody tell us what to do. So again, as you're heading out on your journey of investing for freedom, I've just been pondering this. What areas in my life am I looking for a king? Am I looking for somebody to tell me what to do? Am I looking for somebody to just be my scapegoat? Because at the end of the day, if things don't go right, this is what you told me to do, boss. People don't want freedom. People don't truly want that discipline and the responsibility that comes with it. So what areas in your life are you hiding from or not moving toward because you really want a king in your life? You want to be told what to do. And it's scary, man. It's scary being out there. There's that old saying, it's lonely at the top. And I don't believe that. I think there's just less people at the top, and you're scared to be transparent. And, we just got to surround ourselves with other people that are at the top. So I don't think it's lonely at the top. I think it's just a little bit more challenging. And really, at the end of the day, we want somebody above us telling us what to do. So I would encourage you to check in with that and just see what areas of your life that you're holding back because you think you need a king.